Just look at that blueberry goodness.
It's time to celebrate another birthday, and I like to make baked goods when possible that kind of somehow represent the person being celebrated. In this case, this person has kind of a mild demeanor on the outside, kind of calm and quiet, but on the inside is kind of spicy and a little bit fierce. And that's what I'm going for today, so we're going to make some lemon ginger blueberry muffins. Let's fix it. Hello, my name's Chris and welcome to Chef Fix-It. So these muffins are going to have bold, fresh flavors with fresh ginger and fresh Meyer lemons from my tree. They're also going to be gluten-free. First thing I'm going to do is turn the oven on to 425 degrees. That's kind of a high temperature, but that high heat really makes these muffins explode out of the muffin tin, so they get a really nice muffin top.
You pop the top, toss the stuff.
I'm going to do some prep work. I have my fresh ginger. Let's get it peeled, and then I'll start zesting it.
The ginger root I have still has a bunch of little pieces on it that I refer to as the toes, so I get in there with a little paring knife and just go to work. You can use a spoon if you have a large piece of ginger, but I find with all those little nooks and crannies, a paring knife works better. It doesn't take very long, it's just kind of annoying. Now it's time for the zesting. Be mindful when you're zesting ginger, sometimes larger chunks break off. You want to be careful those don't make it into the pile, because what will happen is when you bite into your muffin or whatever you're making, you're going to get a big chunk of ginger. You might not want that.
That looks like a good amount to start with. Now it's time to zest some lemons.
I'm using Meyer lemons, and they have a very thin peel. You need to be very gentle when you're zesting. You don't want to get too much of the white pith underneath that kind of has an off flavor. So just be gentle, and I find it's more of a twisting motion than a pushing motion, if that makes sense.
So the lemons on my tree, most of them aren't quite ripe yet, but I still feel like they have better flavor than lemons you might find in the grocery store. So I'm still comfortable using them.
Citrus is definitely out of season right now in the grocery stores. You can find lemons. You can't find Meyer lemons right now though, and I really do like Meyer lemons as far as baking. I think they have a better overall flavor, so that's why I'm using some of the lemons off my tree. I found the ripest ones I could find. There's a little green in the rind, but they're mostly yellow, so we'll just go with it and it should come out pretty good.
I'm happy with that. It looks like about a 4-to-1 ratio lemon to ginger. And ginger is a stronger flavor, so I wanted to make sure I put more lemon than ginger in there. And I'm thinking 4-to-1 will be about right. I guess we'll find out when they're done. So this recipe calls for half a cup of buttermilk, and I never have buttermilk in the house because I know I can just add apple cider vinegar to regular milk and it'll sour and then we're good to go. So let me get that started.
One of my favorite baking hacks is to use regular milk and apple cider vinegar to make buttermilk. So normally you use 1 tablespoon of vinegar and then fill the rest up to 1 cup for the milk. In this case, we're using half a cup, so we do half a tablespoon and half a cup of milk.
Just give that a little stir. Put that aside for right now. Also need to juice a couple of lemons.
This recipe calls for the rind of about 4 or 5 lemons, but the juice of only a couple, so you have leftover juice for lemon water or whatever else you might want.
These lemons are really seedy. They must come from a rough part of town.
Come on, chef. Okay, that wasn't a terrible dad joke. Well, what do you think? Let me know in the comments.
Well, I guess that's my backyard, so I don't know. It's not too bad back there.
You really had to double down on that one, didn't you? You know, chef, you might consider leaving jokes to the professionals. Just stick to cooking.
We need 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. I'm just going to add that to the buttermilk.
A lot of times little tiny seeds can make their way into the lemon juice from here, so I really try to be careful not to scoop those up as I'm getting the lemon juice for the muffins.
I'm also going to add half a cup of sour cream to the mixture. I'm going to do that by weight because it's kind of messy to measure. So 2 tablespoons weighs 30 grams, and there are 8 tablespoons in half a cup. So we need 4 times 2 tablespoons, or 4 times 30 grams. That's 120 grams. Let's just mix this up.
I like to mix this now to reduce the chance of getting sour cream lumps when I mix the wet and the dry ingredients together later.
Next, we need a quarter cup of oil. I like to use olive oil or avocado oil. I think I use olive oil this time.
I decided to use olive oil this time just to balance things out. I feel like I've been using a lot of avocado oil lately, but either one is great.
Now let's get to the dry ingredients. We need 2.5 cups of gluten-free flour. That's 370 grams.
When baking, measuring flour by weight is the only way to go for me.
We need 1 teaspoon of baking powder next. And half a teaspoon of baking soda. Half a teaspoon of salt.
Using my typical eyeball method to measure salt hasn't failed me yet. Drop the salt, man. Come on.
That's all for the dry ingredients. Just going to give it a quick stir.
Mixing the dry ingredients first, just to combine everything really well, should make the final batter a little bit better.
Now let's go to the electric mixer. The key to getting the most out of your lemon zest and also your ginger is to mix it with the sugar first. The oils will dissolve in the sugar, and when the sugar mixes in the batter, it will distribute the flavors very nicely. So I'm going to start off by adding a cup of sugar to the mixer, and then my ginger and my lemon zest. You can just kind of use your fingers to work the sugar and the zest together with the ginger, but I like to use the mixer. It's just easier that way for me.
Always start your mixer on slow speed first so you don't launch anything into the air. This does take a few minutes. I had to stop the mixer a few times and scrape down the sides. And if you really have time, you can let it sit for a couple hours to get maximum flavor. This is what you want to end up with. It kind of looks like yellow snow.
Oh, by the way, don't eat the yellow snow.
Oh, I know that.
Now we're going to add half a stick of butter, or 4 tablespoons.
Notice how soft this butter is. You want to get nice soft butter like this so it really emulsify with the sugar, and that will help your batter come together really nicely. If your butter isn't softened, that means that the sugar and butter aren't going to emulsify properly, and that means the final crumb of your muffin is not going to be the best. So take your butter out of the fridge a couple hours before you start. Now that everything's kind of mixed up, I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon of the oil, and this is just going to help the butter-sugar mixture get fluffy a bit quicker.
That's looking good, so let's add the rest of the oil.
All these little details help to provide the best crumb possible. That's why I didn't just dump all the oil in at once. We want the best emulsification we can get. It's worth it in the end.
We're going to need 2 eggs.
Emulsifying the eggs is the next important step in building a batter. The protein in the eggs provides the structure for that ideal crumb.
I meant to add those one at a time. Whoops.
I don't know why, but those eggs really didn't want to go in the bowl one at a time. They both bailed at the same time, but that's okay. This looks really good.
Now it's time to add the wet and the dry ingredients. I'm going to alternate. I'm going to start with the dry ingredients first. I found if I start with the wet ingredients, sometimes the batter will split. So the dry ingredients, the flour and whatnot, helps hold everything together.
So I start off with a couple spoonfuls of flour and then mix it a bit. When that's pretty well mixed in, add some liquid and then alternate with some dry, and then keep going back and forth until all the ingredients are in there, and then continue to mix it until it's a nice smooth batter.
That batter is looking great. I'm going to get it out of the mixer and we'll mix in the blueberries by hand. The amount of blueberries I add depends on if they're frozen or fresh. Frozen blueberries tend to leak their moisture a lot more than fresh blueberries do, so I would add more fresh blueberries. If it was fresh blueberries, I would add maybe up to 2 1/4, maybe even 2.5 cups, depending on what I wanted to do there. For frozen blueberries, I dial it back a little bit. Maybe I'll do 1 3/4, 1.5 cups, somewhere in there.
I am using frozen blueberries this time, so I have just over 1.5 cups going in. Notice that I dump a good amount of it in there and then mix it right away. And then I'll dump in the rest and then keep mixing.
When you're using frozen berries, you want to stir them in right away before they freeze into clumps. Once they do that, it's very hard to work with your batter.
Another tip to avoid clumping, keep stirring until the berries start to bleed their color into the batter a little bit. Then you know when you stop stirring, they won't freeze together again.
Now we'll do the muffin tins. Great thing about these muffins is they really fill up the muffin tins nicely. So basically I'm going to have a slight mound in each muffin, and when they're in the oven, they're really going to puff up.
I fill up this first muffin cup to the desired level to use that as a guide, and then I just go around and fill up the others, trying to get berries in each one. And I end up scraping the bowl dry because I want to make sure I get as much muffin as I can out of this recipe. Trying to get them as even as possible and also full.
So those look really good. I got the blueberries distributed as even as I could. I didn't want to go full on casino with them.
From now on, I want you to put an equal amount of blueberries in each muffin. You know how long that's going to take?
We're going to go into the oven now, 425 degrees. I'm going to do that for about 18 minutes and then turn it down to 400 degrees until they're done.
I didn't realize this at the time, but I forgot to put the turbidino or raw sugar on top. So we're going to have to figure out a way to do that after they come out of the oven.
I'm very happy with how those turned out. They really puffed up nice. There is one problem though. Since I did forget that turbidino sugar, I'll have to apply it after the fact. So what I need to do is let the muffins cool all the way, make a simple syrup, and then I can try to get the sugar to stick that way.
When I'm trying to get the muffins out of the tins, I like to give them a little twist, and that will kind of free up the muffin top, and then it's easy to get them out. If they won't twist, I can use a little plastic fork to get in there and kind of like break it free without damaging the nonstick surface. They are plenty warm still, so I'm trying not to burn my hands as I'm doing this.
I made a half cup of simple syrup. It's probably way too much, but that's okay. I've never done this before and I wanted to make sure I had enough. So the idea is you take the simple syrup and spread it on the top of the muffin, and then you sprinkle the sugar on there and kind of press down a little bit. And then that should help the sugar stick. Try it out and see.
Simple syrup, in case you don't know, is equal parts water and sugar. So I did half cup sugar, half cup water, and I just brush it on there. While it's still wet, I sprinkle the sugar and kind of press real quick.
I think I'm pressing down too long. I think you only need to press down for a few seconds.
I'm just kind of figuring this out as I go, and I am finding that you need to wait a few seconds after you put the sugar on there before you press down to kind of hold the sugar in place. And that seems to work pretty well. I'm pretty happy with how those turned out. They look just like they would have if I put the sugar on before they went in the oven.
Now it's time for the taste test. All right, here we go.
This is why I like the parchment cupcake liners so well. They just peel right off and you don't lose any of your deliciousness.
Oh, look at all that blueberry goodness. I mean, come on, look at this thing. All right, let's give it a taste. Yeah, that's nice. So right away you get the ginger, and then the lemon's kind of in the background a little bit, and the blueberry is a nice little punch of flavor. It all actually goes very well together. I'm super happy with this recipe, and I'm confident that it'll be a hit at the birthday. I hope you try making these blueberry muffins. They're super tasty, and they're going to give you a punch of flavor, and they'll definitely be appreciated. You don't need a special occasion. Just make them for a Sunday or any day ending in Y. Thanks for watching.